Hi everyone, and welcome to our third stream of Unreal Engine 4. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, if the image is okay. And we will start today. First of all, I will show you the RGB masking that I was promising last time, because we haven't got it working. So I will show this today. And then I will show you some other cool stuff we can make with material editor in Unreal Engine 4, like adding animations and some other stuff. And I would like to talk to you about one of our things that we can create here. So after me and Jakub was reading about your projects, I noticed that you have a lot of ideas where you can actually we can use an environment. So we're like creating an environment that we can do stuff there. So what I've decided that it will be better if we actually create something in Unreal Engine on these streams. I will be creating an interactive environment here. I will show you all the things you need to do to create a playable character, so you can control it, and we can create some environments, and then you can use this knowledge to create your own projects. So I think it will be more useful than just, you know, using this standard scenes, and I will show you just everything on the scene. Yeah, but I think it's better if we actually create something. It will be more interesting for me, and I think it will be more useful for you. So let me know what you think about it on Discord or in the chat here, and also we can discuss this further. Yes, so I think this will be the better for us to go in this direction. Yeah, so today, as I said, we are going to use the color masks. So I already imported in my Unreal Engine the color mask, which I created really fast in Photoshop. Is like 3 colors and the white on one surface. It's not even, they are not even aligned. So yeah, this is kind of embarrassing, but yeah, it works. It just shows how it will work. Also created a new material on which we'll showcasing it. I just right click on any empty space here and select material, then I named it like this. You can also add materials by clicking add new. And the last step, I put a cube in my scene, so we can see our masking in action. So first of all, let's open up our material. And yeah, it's quite empty. I already changed the preview to cube. You can do this by clicking on the different object types down here. By default, it's a sphere. I can select the cube here. It will be more convenient to check our texture by this. And then I just need to add some stuff. So let's put our color mask here, like this. And now let's see how this masking is actually working. So I'm gonna add 3 multiply nodes for each of our color here, and I will maximize them like this. Keep in mind that that my preview here is still broken, so it will be all red, but it should be white. So in your project it will be white. For me it will be red, so just keep in mind. Let's plug red into the A, so it's multiplied by 1, so it's actually not multiplied. Let's put green here and put blue here. Alright, so and now as you can see, there's different pattern to this. As you can see, the white circle is always white, because white, it's like RG and B at max. So it's 225 R, 205 green, and 205 blue. So this is the white color. And as you can see here, it's present on every texture. The red one is over here, the green one is over here, and the blue one is over here and slightly over here. And actually maybe because of my preview bug, it's over here. But yeah, it's all white, okay? So it's not red, it's white. So we have 3 different masks, and you can see. So it extracts from the texture the color that you actually need. And let's see how we can apply it. So first I will add some more textures. So I will just right click and type texture sample. It adds a empty texture sample. Well, not empty, because I have selected the color mask in my content browser, so that's why it's automatically picked the texture which is selected in your content browser. And we will pick something from the starter content. Let's bring something, I don't know, maybe this one. Then I press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to copy that, and use another texture. Let's see, what do we have here? We have cobblestone. Let's put something grayish, maybe concrete tiles. Okay. Yeah, so we have 2 textures, and now we can actually combine them together using linear interpolate or lerp. If we hold L and press with the left mouse button anywhere on our work area. And just a reminder, because we were talking about lerp last time, the lerp is a node which combines 2 inputs. It can be color, it combines them depending on the alpha. So alpha is also can be a linear color, so it's not linear color, I'm sorry, but just a scalar parameter, so a number from 0 to 1, where the 1 is the white, A is the black one, and the whites are the B. So 1 it will be always B, when it's 0 it will be always A, and everything in between will mix them together. So we should put our 1 texture here and 1 texture here. And when we put it into our basic color of our material, we can see that these 2 textures are combined 50-50. So it's 50% of the first one and the second one, because the alpha here is 0.5. But what we want to do now is to put our masks, which were created here, into alpha channel. So let's put the red one, and as you can see, now that the 1 texture, the B1 is where the whites are, so this is white, these dots are white, and the second texture is where the whites are, and the blacks are where the second texture is. Okay, let's put the green channel mask, and as you can see, it's now this situation. Let's put the third one, and as you can see, there's 2 dots on the bottom. So that means that you can create different kind of masks using these three colors, or even more. You can use yellow and purple, for example, too. So what it's used for? First of all, as you can see, we have 3 different masks from 1 texture. So this is very useful for optimizing your project. So if you have like a material which you know will have a lot of masks, you can create this by applying 1 texture, but using 3 different colors. So this is really useful for that. And as you can see, it's now perfectly working. We also can use these masks for other channels of our material too. So I, for example, can put this black and white mask, again it's black and white, to emission, for example. And as you can see, now it's white because it's emitting the light color. Or go to roughness, for example. And now everything on my material is reflecting the environment, but the mask which I specified is actually not reflecting anything. So as you can see, you can make different kind of effects with this. For example, if you have an asset which has a lot of different materials into it, for example, it's have wood, metal and glass, for example. And of course, for each of the part of this object, you can create different masks manually, black and white masks. Or you can create one mask with 3 different colors. For example, everything which should be metal is blue, everything should be wood is red, and everything which should be glass is green. And using only one texture and then putting them together with lerp or multiply will give you different effects. So you will have one texture for mask and one object, and you can use the same UV mapping and everything to create your material. So this is like the very simple and very basic stuff which can really help you creating your assets. Again, if we will go with our project, so we actually create something here. I will show you the process of actually preparing the model in 3D Max, I guess, or Maya, to put it in Unreal, and creating the UV mapping with these masks in mind. Yeah, so this is about the masks which I promised from the last time. And okay, now let's go and try something different. Let's delete this, and let's try to create some animations within our material. So I will plug this texture to the base color, and I would like to change some physical values of it. I want it to be matte material, not reflective at all. By holding 1 on a keyboard and clicking the mouse button on an empty space, I can create a scalar parameter, and I can put it right here. So 0 for the metallic and specular, and I want the roughness to be 1. Okay, like this. So we have our material, and now let's see at some nodes which we can add, which can create some animations. Okay, in chat everything seems to be okay. Again, if you have any questions, guys, don't shy to ask them here. Alright, so we have our texture sample, and each texture sample has the UVs input, the texture input, and bias texture. So the UVs is are generated per model. So your model have UVs which shows the texture where to apply it, and also with this one we can add the control to our UVs. For example, if I right click here and select coordinate, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, texture coordinate, and plug it into UVs. We now can tile our texture. So for example, let's select text coordinate and select tiling to 2 and V2. And as you can see, there is now more bricks. Let's push it further. Let's try 8 and 8. And as you can see, there is a lot of bricks. So this texture is seamless. So it means that the texture can be repeated from each side. So we have no visual seams here. Yeah, now this is how we can create some tiling materials. We can also use multiply to do this. for example, I can add multiply, plug it into UVs, and use the scalar parameter to control the mapping. So if I put 1, you can see the material applies evenly. If I put 2, it starts to tile, 4, and so on. And you can see now you can control this with the one scalar parameter and not the text chord. So like this you can create different tiling for your textures. The other thing which is useful is also panning your texture. For example, if I right click and type panner and plug it into my UVs, we should specify some parameters here in the panner node. So let's say speed x 1.7, and as you can see now the material is spinning. So let's put it to 1. Yeah. So now the material is animated, and if we put it, you know, on our cube like this, it should compile really fast, and I should save it first, of course. And yeah, and now we have spinning material. The UV maps on the cube is situated like this. So if you want to create something, I don't know, like conveyor belts, I don't know if you would like to create something like this, but yeah, you can definitely do this by creating something like this with the panner. On the sphere it will look differently. Come on. If we put in our sphere and put the material on it, you can see it looks like this. But what else we can do with it? VR? No, thank you. We can put 0 here, we can put 1 here, then the texture will go up. But if I create like -1, put in here, it will go down. So we can create some, for example, fluid materials with this. So if I put 0 minus 0. Let's say 5. Yeah, it's still too fast, I think, so let's put like 0.2. Yeah. So if we use the texture, which actually looks like water or some liquid, it will look like the sphere is actually fluid and the liquid is going down from it. Let's maybe do this right now. Let's find in our starting content something that looks like water. Is there anything in our textures? I don't think so. Yeah, there's only the texture normal. It's okay. We use the texture normal as a normal map. So we'll plug it into normal. And instead of our texture, we'll use a simple color. So let's put a color. Color is a 3-point vector. So I'm holding 3 and clicking. Let's select the color of our water, of our liquid. This will be something like this, and put it in a base color. And now I can put the coordinates into the UV of the normal texture. And as you can see, now we have like this waved thing. And then let's change some parameters. Let's separate the metal and specular. Let's put specular to 1 and roughness to, let's say, 0.25. Yeah, and now we have it. Now we have like a fluid material. So let's see how it looks. I didn't save it. Okay, I can click apply, just the same thing. Yeah, and as you can see, now it's like a fluid sphere, and we have like this fluid box, I guess. If we create something like, I don't know, plane, for example, and put it like this, and apply this material to it. Of course, I picked the wrong direction. So now you can see that that it's like the flow of our water. But what if we need to use this spanner and use the tiling too? So as you can see, the UV slot is already occupied by our panner, so we need to combine them. So let's see how we do this. If we put our coordinates here, let's see what happens. Our texture begins to tile by 4, so it's like 4 textures vertically and 4 textures horizontally. And we also have the panning effect, like this. Let me just delete this and this. So, and this is how we create some basic animations. Let's now see what else we can do. With our material. So let's create maybe some flashy things. So I will right click on my empty space and select sign. And what the sign do is actually changing between the highs and the lows on a dynamically. So the sine curve, is like up and down, up and down. So let's see what it can do. Let's put some color in, for example, red. Why not? Let me update the sign, and we should multiply it by a time if I'm not mistaken. So we type time, and it should flash the red each time the sign is no, it's not working. I'm doing something wrong here. Oh no, it's working. Yeah, it's okay, but we don't need to multiply it by the time. Of course, we need to multiply it by the color. See, let me. Yeah, and to define how this actually don't show me the preview, so I don't need to show it. So, and to specify the time, we can click the period here, yeah, and select in which periods the light will flash. But also we, I guess, can use multiply again to define the period. So when it's 0, nothing flashes because it's 0. We need to put 1. It should be 1 second between each flash. Well, it's not good for the water material, but I guess if we have like something like this, you can create this thing. Also, we can go further and multiply this again by another number, yeah, and connect it to emissive and put it like 50, and now you see that the flashing is really bright. So what this functionality do? Let's review it really quickly. So first of all, we have our time. So it's the node which shows the flow of time. It just ticks every period. So our period is 1 second, so it's ticking every second. Then we put in the sign. So the sign is like up and down curve, like this. So the color from the sign, which is black and white, goes from black to white, from black to white, and from white to black, and so on and so on. Then we multiply this sign by the color. So actually it's not it's not a black and white anymore, but it's just the color which we are multiplying it with. And then this color we are multiplying 50 times to create this bright emission thing. So if I put just the sign to the, or I can just show you by clicking start previewing node. So this is our time function. Looks like this. It's like really bright white color. If I put in the sign, you can see how the sign is working. So it's smoothly going between blacks and whites. Then our multiply, our blacks and whites are going red, and then we're multiplying them by this huge number to create the emission we need. So in all together it looks like this. So yeah, this is how we can create things. So let me check the chat real quick. No, the chat is dead. Everyone understands everything perfectly, and this is absolutely awesome. The last thing I want to talk to you about here, the last topic, is the material instance. And this is a really cool thing, because you can create one super extended material, as I was showing you previously with the planet, and then you can create a material instance and edit all these parameters in a very user-friendly way. So let's see how it works. So we have our material, like flashy water, whatever. This is, by the way, how it looks in our viewport. If you play the game, it will look like this. Flashy water. Oh, there's a spinning chair here. Forget about it. So we right-click on our material, which in our content browser, right-click, and the first option is to create the material instance. So clicking that, it creates material masks instance. Inst, short for instance. So what this means? This means that now, if I fire it up, I have the preview of my material, and here I will have all the parameters which I specified in my material first. So let's see how to do this. For example, I would like to quickly edit in my material instance the color of my material. So I right-click on my color node and select convert to parameter. So the parameters are unique, so they have to have a unique name. So let's call it color, all caps. So this is our parameter color. So if I create another parameter, I should name it differently if I want two of these parameters to be different. Okay, let's create another scalar value, put it into metallic, and convert it to parameter and call it metalness, which will define how metallic is our material. Next one is specular, convert to parameter, specularity. And the last one, roughness, convert to parameter, roughness. So this is our basics physics parameters. Then what else can we do here? So we can specify into parameters how much the sphere will glow. So let's select our multiplied number here, convert to parameter, and let's say emission strength. So the emission strengths will then be editable in our material instance. I also can change the color really quick. So I just convert to parameter this and name it emission color. So now we can edit this too. If I called it just color, it will turn into this green one. What else? We can change the period, right? So we using our time to multiply with a number, and it defines the period of our sign. So let's convert it to parameter 2. And this says blinking time, I guess. But blinking period will be better. Period of. Okay, what else can we do here? We can also change the texture tiling by changing our value which we're multiplying with our texture coordinates. And let's say tiling. Oh, it's actually for the normal map, so we can name it normal tiling. So if we add, for example, a texture which is a color, we can name it color tiling or texture tiling. Okay, and what else? Also, we can change the panner thingy. Yeah. How we will do this? If you multiply, let's see. First of all, let's apply this and save our material. If we click save, it actually applies. So just saving our material. And now, as you can see, in our material instance, we have this parameters which we are exposed. So all this stuff is now, we can see it here. So I can turn them on. And now we can change stuff. For example, I can change the color to purple, whatever. I can change the emission color to green. And now my sphere will blink green if I apply the material instance to it, as you can see here. Also, I can change the period, so I can make it blink really fast, as you can see here, or not blink at all, but by putting 0 here. Now it's not blinking at all. Metalness, as you can see, it changes how if our material is metal or not. And as you can see here, the value of metalness is going only through 0 to 1. So there's actually no point in going beyond 1. So we can specify this too in our material. If I click on metalness, you can see here that we have the default value, which is 0, and we can put slider minimum and slider maximum. So I can put 1 here in slider maximum, then save my material, and after that, in material instance, as you can see here, I can go only to number 1. So I'm moving my mouse, but I can't go beyond 1. So you can, if you really want to create a user-friendly material, you can really specify which one will be. The same we can do for the roughness and the specularity. As you can see, they doesn't change if we're going beyond 0 or 1. So let's save this, and yeah, we have it, like a super shiny material. So what else what we can do with our also what I would wanted to do with this I already forgot. So yeah, it's tiling, normal tiling. Yeah, we can change it to, and it will change the tiling of our texture. And also you can always return to your default parameters which are specified in your material by clicking on these yellow arrows. Okay, so what I want to do here, I wanted to make the parameter which can control which direction will go our panner. So let's try to do this. Let's go with multiply. Let's go with parameter. I think we need to use an append thingy here, but let's just preview it. Start previewing, and let's see. Does it changing anything? I don't think so. I think it's changing the... yeah, it's not changing the flow. It's changing the tiling. Yeah, we don't actually, it's not gonna work like this. So let me think. We have a time and a speed here, so we can use this. We can put our speeds. So we put speed 5 here. What will happen? It will go into direction +5 for x and y, like this. But we don't need that. So we need to separate the y and x direction. So to do this, I'm using another node which is called append vector. So what append does? Append separates, actually it combines two values into one vector. So if I put this here and this here, my texture should go up really fast. Let's see this. No, it's actually not up, it's left, because it's x. The first one is x, so x, I'm sorry, and the bottom one is y, so this means that this one will be x and this one will be y. So and let's name them properly, so we don't actually so we remember them in our material instance. So let's convert it to parameter, name it speed x, or it can be x is our horizontal. I can't spell horizontal. Oh my god, now I have Russian. Okay, horizontal. Yes, did it. Let's put it to 0 for now. And this will be, convert to parameter, it will be speed y. This is our vertical. Okay. So when we change these parameters, the speed of our panner will change on depending on a parameter we are changing. So let's stop previewing this node and let's save it again. And now, as you can see in our material instance, let's put just blinking to 0. We have two new parameters which were created, and if we are adding them, let's see here. If we are changing the speed x, you can see the speed along the horizontal direction is changing. If I go minus, it will go in other direction. And the same thing for Y, or our vertical direction. So I can go up. If I go minus, it's go down. So like this. That's how you're creating the animated materials in Unreal Engine 4. So the material instance is cool because you can use one material. Today we are talking a lot of optimization, by the way. I don't know why. You can create different materials instances from the same material. So I can duplicate, and let's say material blinking light. Okay, I can't use space, so sorry. Blinking light, and this will be material flowing goo. Okay, so these two instances are using the same master or parent material, like this one, and it's specified here in our material instance. But I can create as many copies of it as I possibly could. So let's change them. So this is a blinking light. So let's put blinking period to 1. Let's put emission strength to 100. Why not? Let's change the color to black, and let disable the flow of the normal. But one more thing, it's still like gooey, so it has like this normal texture. How do I specify in material the switch so I can turn on or turn off the textures? So the simplest way to do this, I can just click on my texture sample, right click on it, and use convert to parameter, and use it like normal texture. But what if we don't want to use normal at all? But then we have to create a switch. So I'm right clicking on my working area, typing switch, and let's call it, no, it's not static switch, I'm sorry, it's where is it? Static switch parameter. So in this this is also a parameter, and it will switch between the two inputs in the material instance. So let's call it use, I just can't type today, use normal, or just, you don't need to put actually a question mark, it's not a boolean or something. So if true, we will use normal. If false, we can use nothing, because there will be no normal. And just to put something in it, we can use just put 0. So let's do this. So now I will save. Oh no, but my normal is just screwed up now. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, because if I put 1, it will not be better, I guess. Yeah, it will be messed up anyway. So what this did, it's just in our material, you can now specify if you want to use normal. So with this one, I'm switching on and off the parameters that I actually want to change, and then I can switch on the use normal, and now the normal texture parameter has appeared. So now I can load any normal texture here, like this one, and now I have a completely different material, which is actually using the same logic we specified in our parent material. So let's save it. Let's change the color, for example, maybe before that. Let's click save. Flowing goo. Let's now change this. Let's turn on our normal texture, because it's goo, obviously. It should be like this. Let's change the curl to something really, really bad. Yeah, like this. This is awful green color. Period 0, emission strength, it doesn't matter because we're not blinking. Let's put metalness. Yeah, maybe. Roughness should be really low. Let's put it to 0. Specularity 1, it's okay. And now let's put the speed to, I don't know, 0.1 minus. Yeah, it's more like, actually more like a water, not like a goo. So maybe let's put down the metalness. It will be look more more gooey like. And save. So, and let's duplicate our sphere here, and let's put our second material. So as you can see here, we have two completely different materials here. Completely, this is like a flashing something, and this is a goo, and we created this all from one material. Let's make it, let's change the name. It's not about masks anymore. It's like more like a proud parent to instances. So these material instances are completely different, but they're created from one piece of code, from one piece of shader, which we are created today. So this is super useful stuff if you want to create some things in Unreal Engine. You can put practically everything to the parameter, so you can create some really elaborate materials with it. And then you can easily multiply them and create different kind of stuff. So as you can see here. So yeah, and in game it looks something like this. So this is it about the animating our materials and instancing of materials. So next time I think we should really start with our project. I think it will be really interesting. I will come up with something. I think we will create outdoor and indoor, or maybe just indoor, I'm not sure. We will definitely start with indoor. I will show you how to create a character, how to animate it and put it in Unreal Engine. Most of you will of course use the VR. Maybe I will put make blinking less intrusive because it's really annoying. Yeah, now it's worse. Thank you very much. Okay, the other way around, please. So yeah, I will start to create another. It's like it will be like a series. So we will start from the beginning. We will create a new project, and we will start to make everything piece by piece. It will be creating an indoor environment. I probably will use the assets, the already asset that I have, or I will download some. This is not about the modeling, it's all about Unreal Engine, so I will use some ready assets, and then I put them together into the environment, and also I will create a character so we can understand how the skeletal meshes in Unreal Engine work. Maybe it will not be used by you in VR, but it's always useful to create one to understand how the movement, how the animating is working in Unreal Engine. And then we will also put the VR template to it, so we can create a real-time VR project. Yeah, so something like this. Maybe then we will go to actually to creating an outdoor environment, if you will be interested in this, of course, because you can change everything in our classes. Just give me feedback on Discord anytime. So let's check the chat. Jan is asking, how do you get the ball to light up when the person approached the ball? Well, this is actually going more into programming. I can tell you like basically how it's done. But the thing is, actually, you know what? Maybe we can do this really fast. Actually, because we started like 20 minutes by after 5, so I think we can do this in like 10 minutes. To do this, we will need to program it. So we need first of all our trigger. So putting it from the palette here, let's put it somewhere here. So when our character enters this cube, the sphere here will light up. So we have already blinking material, right? So we have our emission strength. But this emission strength is only working when we have a sign attached to it. So if we want to use a shine which is not blinking, we should use the switch parameter. So let's add it, switch parameter. Static switch parameter, let's show it use blinking. So if use blinking is true, we're using this, right? So this piece of code. And if we are not using blink, we use let me see, we use yeah, no, let me think. So I want to keep these two parameters without blinking. Oh, actually, I could just, you know, just repeat the code. It's actually not that hard. I can multiply. Yeah, I can multiply my color by my strength without any sign and put it to false. So when I'm use blinking, it goes like on this branch. So we're using multiplying by our color by the sign, then multiplying this assigning color to the strength, and we have like super shiny material. But now we're just multiplying this color and this by this strength and going to false. Yeah, so this will work. So to materials to work in the world, in blueprints, we need to specify the parameters, which we'll already do. It's like emission strength, so we will change this. And yeah, now we have use blinking, and if we check it, we have the blinking period, and the material will eventually blink. Yeah. So let's put this material blinking light here, and now let's specify the coding. So I will do the coding in a level blueprint in this level. Each level has its own blueprint, so I'm clicking on blueprints and open level blueprint. And here we can start doing our code. So first of all, I need references to my objects in scene. So I'm selected this sphere, and then in my material blueprint I will right click, and there is a reference to a sphere 3. Yeah. So it's not gonna work because the sphere is not a blueprint. Oh yeah, no. I'm doing correctly because we have a trigger too. So yeah, I put the trigger in. Okay. Then we should create a reference to our trigger box, and here we can specify if we type in overlap, so something like this is overlapping actor. In this actor should be No, it should be an event. I'm really sorry. I'm not prepared for this, so it's like a spontaneous thing. So you should forgive me. It should be like this. When we selected our trigger in a level, right? So in our level blueprint, I'm going to right click and add event for the trigger. So, and this will be collision, add on actor begin overlap. So this means that whatever actor we should specify after will enter the trigger, something which happens after this will happen. And to do this, we go to create dynamic material instance. So this material instance will work with the code. And this material is already on our sphere, so we don't need to specify this. We just need to specify the material, and the material will be material blinking light. And then we create a parameter. It will be called dynamic material. No, it will be called material parameter. Yeah, get scalar parameter value from our material. No, get parameter. No. Okay. Get scalar parameter value. It should be our material. Okay, should be parameter collection. Yeah, but it's not. It's not in collection. Collections is the other way to create to define the parameters. Should I add it to the collection? I don't think so. So let me think just for a second here. We created the material instance. Well, it should be the way to modify the parameter without creating the collection, I guess, because it will be a little bit too lengthy to create the collection. We can do this. I don't think why not. Yeah, and then we specify the parameter. Okay, let's try to do this. Go to materials. It should be materials and textures, and should call material parameter collection. Okay, and let's specify the scalar parameter. It will be it should be called emission, and default value will be 0. It's okay. So, and now we should go to our material and put here a parameter collection parameter. So this is our parameter which we take from our new created collection, and we putting it into our emission here. Parameter name emission. So we're using this parameter from the collection instead of our specified value here. And that should actually do this. Let's put this new material and parameter name emission. Yeah, and now we have, so we don't need this anymore. So now we have a scalar parameter, and it returns the value of our emission. So, but we actually don't need to get it, we need to set it. So let's set scalar parameter value. Okay, so and now we're setting the emission parameter to, let's say, 100, and it will change all objects, so we don't even need a reference to this object, because I can go like this and change the get material Get materials, yes, and from these materials I can then get the scalar parameter and that put it in the into emission. But we also can do this with the material collection. I think it will be even be better. So each time we enter the trigger box, the emission will go to 100. So now let's select our box again and go to add event and collision and end overlap. So when we go out of the box, it will change the value back to 0, so it's no longer shines. Okay, compile, save, and let's check how it works. Oh, I put my trigger near my sphere like this, and let's test it. So we have our camera, we're going in, and yep, and it's shining. So now, as you can see, the trigger is working. Each time I it's actually blinking. So I can go here and blinking period, change it to let's say 2. Yeah. Go up, and now the sphere is glowing. So yeah, this is it. A little bit messy. I'm sorry for that. It's actually okay. A little bit disconnect here. So thank you very much for today. I think I hope that this tutorials was actually helpful to you. We will tackle in this trigger blueprinty stuff like more when we create this our project with the environment, and it will be, I hope it will be not that messy as today. Yeah, and we will create all sorts of stuff and materials and parameters and all this thing to make our project tick. So thank you very much, and I'm waiting for your suggestions on Discord. What would you like to see in this project that we are going to build? What kind of stuff, like what kind of interaction, what kind of logic you want to see there, and yeah. So thank you very much and have a nice evening.